again, this is Charlene O'Hanlon, Managing Editor over at DevOps.com at DevOps World, Jenkins World 2018, San Francisco. And I am here with Rutesh Shah, who is CEO and founder of Infostretch. Rutesh, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So if you could just kind of start the conversation by telling us a little bit about your company.
So Infostretch is now in the business for almost 13 to 14 years. And we are a digital native firm, and we have been responsible for good 50% plus enterprise 100 companies to help them adopt DevOps and bring automation to life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I know your company focuses a lot on continuous testing as part of the DevOps cycle. So let's talk a little bit about that whole continuous economy. Where do you guys see yourselves in kind of the whole ecosystem, and where do you kind of see the space going?
So I think I like the term that CloudBees kind of coined today at this Jenkins World Conference, continuous economy, because the confusion that everybody has today is they add word continuous in front of anything, right? And so what we as a company we do is in enterprise environment, when they are trying to transform into digital world, we help them to put their infrastructure at a level that is fully automated, or at least to a largest extent automated. And one of the things that is lacking in most of these enterprises is their ability to, after they have put these automated processes together, is to really put this automated test that runs when the developer checks in the code. So we have actually developed a framework that helps in the DevOps process to bring continuous testing to life. That means once the developer checks in the code, you're able to run your unit test, then you're able to intelligently deploy that environment in a QA environment or staging environment, and then run the tests that are more important based on the changes rather than running every test. That helps with infrastructure optimization, that helps you to find the bugs early, and if you find enough bugs, you can abort the build, right? And so you can save the cost. And once we go through that, then we go through the regression, and then after regression, we focus on security testing, which is actually very underrepresented in DevOps world.
Yeah, well, right now the DevOps, DevSecOps movement is kind of taking over. So
I think I saw in one of the slides, somebody presented that if $100 are spent on developers, 10 are spent on operations, and only 1 is spent on security. And I think we are there to help customers understand that they are underestimating the potential of risk that they are taking with security and lack of automation, and help them to put it together.
So do you think DevSecOps has become kind of this chicken and egg problem? I mean, should it have been something that, some might argue, yes, that it should have been there all along, but do you think that it's just the evolution of the industry has kind of created this need to have security further up, shifting left?
So it's a good question. What was happening earlier, the enterprises were having everything in a closed environment, right? And they knew what software they were buying, what software they were using, if at all any open source they were using. I think with this continuous, the pace at which their ability to control what goes in their software has tremendously changed. And hence the need for security testing earlier in the life cycle has become paramount and a necessary thing now. Earlier that was all closed, it was not that rapid, it was not that continuous, and hence you could manage it. Now you're in continuous development life cycle, continuous deployment life cycle, continuous testing life cycle. You have to have been in a continuous security life cycle also, right? And so we see that it's a evolution that the continuous economy has brought to enterprises to try understanding the impact of not doing security and really start treating it as it needs to be treated.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So when we're talking about the continuous testing space then today, and then maybe a little further down the road, what have you seen changed in the space, say maybe over the last year or so, or even maybe a little further back? And then what do you see happening as kind of like that next phase of continuous testing?
That's interesting that you're asking this question. I get asked this question many times when I'm talking to our customers, like, why do we have to do this? We were not doing this earlier, right? Continuous testing is actually necessary because you really wanted to shrink your life cycle from 2 months, 3 months to 2 weeks, 2 days, in some cases daily, in some cases every minute. So if you don't have an automated test plugged into your continuous life cycle, you're not going to get the level of quality and real continuous aspect that you're looking for. So What has changed in last 1 year? The organizations that were not adopting that phenomena has accepted that as a basic phenomenon. Shift left has become integral part. Agile has become integral part. Now people are talking Agile 2.0, 3.0, and now even 4.0, right? And so what it means is, if you put everything continuous, if you do your testing properly, then the next big problem that's gonna come up is you're gonna start using enormous amount of infrastructure, because you can't be running 30,000 test cases for every build for a line of code that the developer has changed. So you
Right.
need to get smarter about what you run based on some sort of artificial intelligence that you can use it. So what we feel it is, as continuous testing is becoming mainstream in DevOps, continuous testing with some sort of artificial intelligence is going to be a necessity. Otherwise, your infrastructure cost is going to be paramounting in your overall cost. It might look small per build cost, but at the end of month, it's going to be a big cost. So artificial intelligence in testing is going to be important. The second big thing that we see it is, it's not about only functional and regression tests, but also doing performance load tests in upfront, and also doing security tests based on the changes that are being made. It's going to be important. You don't need to do it blindly. You can do it blindly maybe once a quarter, whatever is your regression cycle, but on an ongoing basis, you need to get smarter. And the good thing is, the open source tools and other commercial tools are actually giving you these capabilities today. Is that the enterprises haven't yet really embraced this phenomena. I think as they embrace cloud, as they embrace platform as a service, I think they're gonna start accepting this whole phenomena in their life cycle.
Makes sense. All right, great. Well, Rutesh, thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.